Hello everyone, Teeny here. I hope your day's going wonderful. I'm so glad you're joining me. I have a fun project to share with you. It's going to be a beautiful project. We're using the Breathtaking Blooms stamp set from Papertrey Ink. This is new part of their new junior release. I hope you get a chance to check out the release because it's lots of fun items. Okay, we're going to use this. This layering stamp is indexed. What I mean by that is there's letters and numbers that coordinate with each of the flower. Makes it super easy for creating, and they're two layers, so it makes it really easy for layering but create stunning results. I do have the coordinating die set. We're also going to be using the Love to Layer arches. This is new, but instead of going arch up, we're actually going to flip it around and go arch down today. I'm bringing in a stencil that's been in Papertrey Ink Shop for a little while. It's called Open Your Heart, and I'm going to be using the one that has the hearts kind of trailing down. We're going to do some texture pasting with this. We'll do this first. This way I have time for it to dry. And then we're also going to be using a stamp set from Papertrey Ink. This is the Just Sentiments from All of Us. I was partial to the greeting that says you are never far from your home. I thought the way this was worded will fit perfectly in the bottom of the arch, so that's why I chose this greeting. First we're going to do some stenciling. This is the stencil that we're going to use. This is going to be our background. This is a panel, an A2 panel of Sweet Blush cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to bring in my grip mat, and we are going to tape it down and bring in some Ranger texture paste. While that's drying, I have my die set. Today's card we're going to be die cutting first, and then we're going to stamping on our die cut images. I just think that's going to be easier. So I'm going to die cut out my florals just using some white cardstock, and I will be right back. I went ahead and placed all my die cuts inside my stamping positioner, and I have the grip mat in here, so it's kind of sticky. I'm hoping that they will stay in place. Now I'm going to take the coordinating stamp, and we're going to line them up right over our images here. For my largest flower, I'm going to use pale Peony ink. I'm going to bring in my Hawaiian shores, and we're going to ink this image here. For this flower, we're bringing in Berry Sorbet. What I did was just layer another flower on top of that, just using my tape runner. Wonderful. Now what we're going to do is ink up our leaves. For my leaves, I'm using Spring Moss. I'm bringing in my Prairie Grass, and we're going to add a little bit of color to the edges here. I love that two-tone look. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my flowers next. For this flower, I'm using Hibiscus Burst. Wonderful. For these flowers, I'm going to bring back my Berry Sorbet ink, and I'm going to stamp these really quickly. I'm going to use prairie grass for this leaf here. Wonderful. And then we're using raspberry fizz ink for our detail layer of our flowers here. I have 3 more flowers to stamp. I already put my leaves in, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with our first batch. I'm going to go over it with spring moss. For the first layer of these flowers, I'm going to use Harvest Gold ink. It's a pretty light yellow. For my second layer, I'm using Summer Sunrise. Beautiful. And these yellow flowers are all good to go. Now before I put my stamping positioner away, I'm going to stamp my greeting. Using my left to layer arches, I die cut out a panel, and what we're going to do is stamp our greeting. I'm using the greeting from our stamp set. I'm going to use a greeting from the Papertrey Ink, Just Sentiments from All of Us. And I saw this sentiment that's just so pretty. It says, "You are never far from our thoughts." And I love the curve of this, and I thought the curve would fit perfectly in the very bottom of our arch if we flip it around. And I'm going to use black ink for this. I'm using my true black ink to stamp my greeting here. Now, using my left to layer arches, so we have our greeting, and then the middle piece, I die cut out with vellum, and then the outer piece I die cut out with some Hibiscus burst cardstock. And what we're going to do is layer all 3 of these together, just using some tape here. Okay, we're going to put this to the side, and then we're going to create our flower arrangements. I'm going to use this flower as a base. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add some adhesive behind it, and then we're going to add florals behind. Kind of alternating between colors. Okay, we have this flower here. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive, and we'll tack this down. We'll tack it over here. With this flower, I'm going to pop up with a foam square. I'm going to take these leaves, we'll attach this to this flower. And then I'm going to layer it, kind of overlapping the 2. I think that's a good spot. I did put foam tape behind this flower, and we're going to do a little tucking here. I just wanted a little bit of blue peeking out. And then we have this leaf. I'm going to add some adhesive, and we'll tuck some greenery under here. And that is our floral arrangement. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that and place it on the top of my card here, but I'm going to put some foam tape behind here for a little bit of dimension. I'm going to take my flowers. We're going to add it to the very top here. It kind of maybe at an angle. I don't want to cover up my greeting down on the bottom. Okay, we're going to put this to the side. We're going to bring back our panel here that we created. I'm going to flip this over and we're going to put some tape behind it and adhere it to the front of our card base. So now it's on our card base. Next, I'm going to bring in some white twine. I'm going to open up my card base. I'm going to wrap it around a few times. Way down here. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. We're going to put foam tape behind here. Next, I'm going to take my florals. We're going to center it. And then I'm going to finish it off with some gems. And that finishes off my card today. Flip over those arches. It makes a really neat design, especially if you have some greetings with a smaller sentiment on the bottom. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.